Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready with our very exciting session of the day, which is on the topic of Mumbai housing market, the Suburbs Beckon. And this session is moderated by Mr. Ramesh Nair, Country Head and CEO JLL India. Ramesh Nair has over 22 years of experience in most facets of the real estate business. He has worked across diverse asset classes such as office, retail, land, residential, warehousing, and industrial, advising leading domestic and multinational owners, investors, and occupiers in India. Our speakers of the session in the alphabetical order, I'd like to introduce and welcome them. Mr. Chintan Sheth, Director, Ashwin Sheth Group. Chintan Sheth, a bachelor's and master's degree in computer science and engineering from the US, has been a spearheading for procurement, engineering, construction, administration, marketing, and sales for all Sheth projects. We also have with us Mr. Dhaval Ajmera, Director, Ajmera Group of Companies. Dhaval Ajmera, an MBA in Finance from the Cardiff University, UK, heads marketing and sales for Ajmera Group. He has successfully launched and completed some of the ambitious projects in Mumbai and Bangalore and is working on upcoming projects in Ahmedabad and Bahrain. He is the youth wing head of CREDAI MCHI in Mumbai. We also have on this panel with us Mr. Jaideep Gandhi, founder Another Idea. Jaideep Gandhi has over 35 years of advertising expertise in the field of real estate. He has been associated with prestigious industry associations such as the Advertising Agencies Association of India and the India chapter of the International Advertising Association for many years. We also have with us a speaker, Mr. Mani Rangarajan, Group COO, Housing.com, Makan.com, PropTiger.com. Mr. Mani Rangarajan has extensive global experience in P&L management, monetization, operations, finance, and strategy in the internet and financial services sectors in over 25 countries. He has conferred with the leadership roles across various prominent business organizations. He is the member of RERA Conciliation Cell formed by MahaRERA India, Board of Director of Unitech Limited, Board of Director of National Skill Development Corporation. And last but not the least, I'd also like to welcome our speaker, Mr. Shailesh Puranik, Managing Director, Puranik Builders Limited. Mr. Shailesh Puranik holds a bachelor's degree in architecture from the University of Bombay and has over 29 years of experience in various aspects of real estate business. A very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for taking out the time and being part of this conclave. I would now request our moderator to please take over the proceedings. Once again, a warm welcome to all you gentlemen. Mr. Nair, I'd like you to unmute your mic, please.
It's unmuted.
Yes, warm welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Realty Plus, for having me here today. And thank you, all our esteemed panelists, for taking your time out from your busy schedules. Our topic for the day is Mumbai housing market and the suburbs. As per the JLL's report, which came last week, Mumbai has actually been the highest contributor to residential sales, accounting for nearly 30% of the country sales in the quarter July to September 2020. We also saw that post the stamp duty reduction, sales in Mumbai was close to 90% of pre-COVID levels. That's a very positive sign. Also for new launches, Mumbai along with Hyderabad accounted for nearly 60% of the new launches in the last quarter. Looking at these numbers, there is some amount of optimism about the residential market in Mumbai, and driven by the various sales volume. My first question, Niranjan, it's great to have a legend like you in this panel. I moved to the city in 2010, and I had met at that time many societies for redevelopment. We still haven't seen many of those societies get redeveloped. They still, the management committees are talking. So my first question, Niranjan Bhai, is what is the future of redevelopment in Mumbai? You're on mute, sir.
Can I recite a small story? I was sharing with a very big redeveloper that, I make my buildings and projects in the suburbs and extended suburb simply because there is no extensive land in Mumbai. And he replied to me in very short, telling me, "Oh my God, what do you mean? There is so much land in Mumbai." And he was talking about redevelopment, and I was talking about open land. So it depends on how your eyesight looks at whatever it is. Somebody finds a person good looking, and somebody is not good looking, but it's all in the eyes of the beholder. So I think redevelopment is, and slum redevelopment, housing, townships, individual buildings, and retail. Look at data centers, look at warehousing, look at all these. These have now gone categorized as specialized areas which we do, similar to people specializing in certain centers in the country. So a North Indian developer mostly sticks to North India. A South Indian developer mostly sticks to down in South India, because they kind of specialize in a particular kind of operation. So redevelopment is also a specialized activity and requires specialized skills as compared to it. Similarly, townships also require specialized skills. So what we would say is, in redevelopment, I think we haven't been able to resolve the issues as well as we have been able to do in the other segments. But there is no reason why it cannot be done, because I think if we had the same ease of doing business applied to redevelopment or to slum redevelopment as we have done in the case of approvals that have now taken place, I think we would be able to get solution. So my answer is, redevelopment has an opportunity, but the question is, how big a scale can we do it? And are there players good enough, strong enough to be able to take this field? And of course, we have players in the panel who are doing a good job in this segment also. So I think probably they would be better to answer about the redevelopment that I can. But I do believe there is a very huge opportunity in the next couple of years for redevelopment, slum rehabilitation, and also peripheral areas of Mumbai in terms of newer townships.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Shailesh, you want to add to that?
Yeah, so I think both open land, peripheral areas, and redevelopment has a huge scope in Mumbai and the suburbs or the extended suburbs. I think what is important now is that the premiums that governments charge and the ease of doing business. A lot has been done, but if anything can be done further, whereas it really eases and you go to only one stop shop and then get all your approvals really in a finite time. Let it be 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or even 6 months. But in 6 months, you are assured that those will be delivered to you. If you look at current RERA, the way the approvals are given, you do not have to go ever to the RERA office, and everything happens online. If those kind of things are brought to the redevelopment or the market, or even the architects can certify, because if you Niranjan Bhai is a CA, he can certify his balance sheet and submits to government. Similarly, why can architects certify the plan and submit to corporation? And if there are any issues, only then it will be asked. Otherwise, you can start once the architect certificate is received. DC rules are not something only government can interpret. Architects also can interpret it very well. So I think these are very, very simple things, but if these are implemented, one, government's revenue will go up, and under ease of doing business, it will be eased really a lot, and the projects can kick off in a finite amount of time, reducing misery of not only the tenants who are staying there, but also the developers and also the financiers.
Thanks, Sailesh. Dhaval, you want to add to that?
Hi, thank you, Ramesh. I think Niranjan Bhai has rightly said, and even Sailesh, I feel personally redevelopment in Mumbai has a very big scope. And as Bombay is always known as the financial capital of Mumbai, India, I mean, it holds its charm. And if you see today, real estate per se has so much scope, like just one small incentive given by government of this, 2%, 3% stamp duty cut, and we are seeing movement happening because real estate is the focus and people are really wanting to buy. So whether it is a redevelopment, whether is it a township, whether it is any of these projects, there is a big scope. So I personally feel that with the kind of dilapidated buildings happening are there in Mumbai, more than 2,000 dilapidated buildings are there. If there is and people really prefer, like if I'm staying in suburbs of Andheri, I would prefer to stay in suburbs of Andheri rather than going to Goregaon or Kandivali or wherever it is. And every suburb has its own growth and sector. So if some ease of redevelopment can happen, there will be a huge and tremendous scope within the suburb itself to grow. And this itself helps the particular area to grow in terms of infrastructure, in terms of other amenities and facilities. So definitely government should focus and take more efforts to see to it how one stamp duty. This is a prime example. If one stamp duty can boost up the demand so much, if we can imagine if certain soaps are given for a particular period of, let's say, 1 year, 2 years, or whatever it is, that can actually move the cycle along, and that can really move the economy around.
Thanks, Dhaval. Let me move to Chintan for the next question. Chintan, post COVID, we're expecting some new trends like decongestion of CBDs, more hub and spoke, walk to work. What do you think will this be the impact? How will all this impact the residential suburban markets? Post which I'll go to Niranjan Bhai on the same question. What do you think this is going to impact?
Hi everybody on the panel. Firstly, let me thank everyone to give me the opportunity to be here today and to share the stage with industry leaders like Mr. Hiranandani and others. So, with respect to this whole hub and spoke and this decentralized, style of doing business, or remote workspaces as people are calling it, that trend is definitely going to impact real estate in Mumbai quite positively. I feel people are already seeing the wisdom in having larger spaces at home, or multifunctional rooms, or especially in an additional place, maybe not in his house, but especially in his society or in his complex, a business center, stuff like that. That is adding value. So people are moving from single standalone buildings to go towards, say, a larger layout, a complex which has these kind of amenities. So people are looking to move upwards, whether it is on rent, whether it is outright purchases of ready-to-move-in properties or near-possession properties. People are seeing the value in investing in that much more extra space for themselves, whether it is inside his house or probably in the same complex. So definitely, I feel there is a definite push to like sort of an indirect push to real estate or residential real estate from the point of view of decentralizing of the office spaces. But I would also like to add that added to this, if there is a shift towards making ancillary business districts like they have in other cities, like BKC, South Bombay, maybe Lower Parel, these 2-3 are quite congested. They are filled to their max in terms of the space available. And going in and out of those places today, you might have experienced pre-COVID has become quite of a nightmare. So if government policy, or if the planning authorities decide that we develop 2-3 more such ancillary business districts in and around certain suburbs in Mumbai, looking at their connectivity advantage or whatever, so that would help the residential real estate market in suburbs even more. So I feel it's a thing that is already happening, and we could probably egg it on further, encourage it further by moving in that direction.
Thanks, Chintan. Niranjan Bhai, last 15 years, everybody has been talking about townships. And even today, I think we can count the number of successful townships in maybe one hand or maximum 2 hands in the country. And you have done 2-3 of those, which people can count. What is going to happen to townships? Given that today there's so much of liquidity challenges, people are not going to sink in land for 100 acres, 200 acres. Gone are those days. Where do you see that heading? These walk-to-work townships, like what we have done in Powai, what you have done in Thane. What do you see the future of these kind of townships? So you're on mute, sir.
Ramesh, one thing is certain, that your report itself is quite a good indicator of things to be, which means that change is manifesting. The story of the post-COVID is definitely is going to be different from the pre-COVID. Just like the Fiat ambassador disappeared to get the new cars, and like the mobile phone and internet has changed the life, and virtual meeting like this has changed the life of our meetings situation, similarly, real estate will also see the paradigm happen. Chintan has hinted to it, but I'll go one step beyond what Chintan has said. And the step is very simple. The new things happening in the next 5 years in the Mumbai metropolitan region, let me just recount, because this is not stated loud enough. We are going to add, we have up till now 190 kilometers of Western Railway, Central Railway and Harbour Line. We are adding 300 kilometers of metro, which means metro stations and ancillaries. We are now going to add in the next 3 to 4 years a new airport across the harbour. We are also going to have a cross harbour bridge, which will bring as much land into development as the half of Mumbai city. That is going to come between Panvel and Karjat. If you look at the paradigms which are going to happen, I don't agree with you that townships will not happen. Only bigger townships may happen, smaller may happen, but townships are bound to happen. Whether in the periphery of the new airport, whether it's going to be along the railway lines, whether metro stations, all these things are going to create the paradigm. The second part Chintan has mentioned, which is the changes which are taking place due to COVID and post-COVID, which means social changes which are needed. The more requirement of work from home requires a higher residential, bigger size apartments is definitely happening. We are already seeing that effect of it in terms of our sales process. People are looking at that. But there's a second paradigm, which I don't think has been mentioned by anybody anywhere. People want better quality of homes. And again, what Chintan mentioned about amenities, like, for example, he said that you need extra place for the purpose of the work. You mentioned it also. And all these things which are going to add. So by staying at home, you just don't want a house and a shelter. You want to have additional amenities which will give you safety, security, place to work, walk to work, school colleges in the neighborhood, at least for the smaller primary school children. All these are going to make a paradigm happen. The Mumbai metropolitan region, that is why, has a huge future. Unlike what has happened in the case of Noida and other places, we do see a bigger opportunity in this region because the development is taking place. And I think more conservatively, the developers have been able to do it. But I agree with you. I think we need to see all the developers who are in the panel, and they're already very big developers who are over here. So I'm looking forward to each of them make bigger townships than I have ever dreamt of. And I'm sure that they will also aspire. So your numbers in the metropolitan region, Mr. Ramesh Nair, will definitely increase in the next decade. And it will be thanks to some of the members on the panel sitting over here today.
That's great to hear, Niranjan Bhai. Let me ask Mani the next question. Mani, we saw some good amount of sales happening in the last 3 months, especially in September. We all know the September sales, the main trigger was the stamp duty reduction. What other factors, in your view, could be the other reasons other than the stamp duty?
See, one is, Ramesh, again, thanks for having me on the panel, and thanks to Realty Plus. Pleasure to be here with legends in the industry. So there are quite a few reasons which is kind of propelling people to buy a home. So the first thing is that I think the pandemic has helped reinforce in people the fact that they are safe within the confines of their home, as opposed to rental or any other home. So that's one. The second is that, from the survey that we did with Neretco that Niranjan Bhai himself released, we have found that about 40 to 50% of people intend to continue working from home on an ongoing basis. And even these people, most 60% of these people are looking to upgrade their homes. So people are looking for larger size homes. And even on platforms like Housing and Makan, we have seen people look for larger size homes and also look for homes with better amenities. So rather than prefer a resale home which is at a probably at a 10% lower price, people want to move into homes which have amenities where which is like at least like mixed use or something like an integrated township where they can feel safe, they can work, and also get their medical facilities, etc., taken care of. So that's another reason which is propelling people to buy. And also, we found that people still prefer real estate as an investment class. So while real estate prices have not really appreciated across the country, except for perhaps Ahmedabad and Hyderabad, people find that there's not been much of a value erosion in real estate compared to, let's say, the stock market or gold, which has been pretty volatile in terms of pricing. So I think all these factors together have helped people make a
Naval, you want to
decision
add to
buy
that?
a home.
What could have been the other factors other than the stamp duty reduction for this sudden spurt in apartment sales?
See, I think what Mr. Mani said is absolutely right. Obviously, we all learn from something which is coming our way, and today pandemic was like the biggest boat which every one of us faced, and nobody realized that we all could be locked up in our own homes for about next 3 months or 4 months, whatever. And that's when we spoke to other developers in and around India and everyone around, everybody realized that all those people, all the millennials and everyone who had always thought that let me have a good lifestyle, be on a rented apartment in a near to my work or near to my place where all my friends and families are. But once this pandemic happened, everyone realized that eventually, if in God forbid, if there is an eventually like this, this will be actually, this was like the home was the only place where we all were safe and where we all were confined to. So that importance gave a big boost to everybody's decision. And obviously, as an Indian psychology and Indian psyche, everyone feels that, roti kapda makan are the three important things. However and whatever we do, wherever we study and wherever we grown up. But I think that is in our roots. So that this pandemic even, gave it a force for them to actually, bring priority of buying a home the most important thing. Secondly, while doing so, I also feel while everyone were down, there were, the tech companies, the other banking firms and all those areas where the millennials were working, they all were working from home. Everyone were having a good, obviously the salaries were a bit cut down, but at least there were no other social expenditure happening. So that also gave them a boost to have with their further bank balances coming, rather than, sloping it up somewhere else, it is best to buy a home and keep it as a safety and a security measure. So that was, I personally feel psychologically was a second booster to it. And at the same time with, specifically when we say Mumbai, with RERA, with GST, with demonetization, every time the prices have, come down or corrected, and they knew that there cannot be a better correction than what pandemic has given. So I feel that was like at the bottom where everyone realized, and it actually helped. And then gave them a reason for it to now just go and jump and take a decision. So, and personally, where they saw was that wherever, that was our experience, and I'm sure everyone else here would also, wherever the project were ready, or just they could see from their own eyes that the building is ready, the flat is ready, people have given that preference and taken decisions. So I personally feel these are the 4-5 factors which really helped people to buy homes in such times.
Thanks, Dhaval. Let me ask Jaideep the next question. Jaideep, how do we position Mumbai better from a marketing front? Mumbai's residential is always seen as very expensive. How do we get that the right branding, positioning, marketing around Mumbai and its suburbs? I know you're in the field of advertising, branding. What would your guidance be, Jaideep?
Thanks, Ramesh. My suggestion would be that we should developers of a particular suburb who have large projects, we should collaborate and jointly promote the destination which is currently happening at individual level. For example, Thane, let's look at Thane right now. What Thane needs is a joint promotion for it being the best place for having your office space and to rebuild the commercial activity in Thane. So a developer alone can't do it. So if it is jointly done, I think it will give a great impact and we can have a wider reach. Similarly, the story of Dombivali or Kalyan. So if you can collaborate and do a campaign on the destination, I think that will be a great idea to reach the wider reach.
Jaydeep, staying on marketing itself, what are some of the lessons you would give on online marketing to developers today? There's so much of talk around technology and online marketing. What's your guidance around that?
It's a very interesting question. I have lots to share, but I'll make it specific and short. Currently, if you see the how we are using social media, especially, we are still used to the print and the outdoor model. So whatever we place on social media is on information basis. We are not able to create engagement. So social media is not for information; it's for engagement. It's not for transaction; it's for conversation. So that's where our content has to improve, and we need to create such content that can create virality. Why should I forward this message to somebody else? So currently, there's a pattern which is being followed in real estate about giving the same information what is in the print or what is in the outdoor. That needs to change because that's a different behavior by itself. So virality is what we need to aim, and how can we make it more engaging? So if you see other industries, they're making social media very engaging, and we are not interested in likes. We are interested in more in conversations. So that's where the message should lead to. We need to improve content, in short.
Thanks, Jaydeep. Chintan, you are the next gen of developers. Your thought around digital marketing?
Well, I think it's become all digital and nothing else is there. So I think the focus from, like a to-do list has now become a necessity. And I think everybody has jumped the digital bandwagon in the last, I think, couple of years. The adoption has been phenomenal. And I think going forward, it's the way to be. So talking about my company, my personal experience, we've tried to sort of mimic the entire offline sales experience onto the virtual platform, creating like a virtual sales office, a little similar to what this Realty Expo is doing. You have like a virtual sales office, virtual rooms, you have a show gallery, you have a 3D tour, you have floor plans, everything is there, and then you can engage with individual salesperson either through a virtual call or through an offline WhatsApp call. So we've been trying to push that forward, but what we see in the last 2 months especially is that people are not happy with just that, because real estate at the end of the day is a touch and feel brick and mortar kind of a product. So unless you come and see, I'm not going to be able to gauge the size of my rooms, the view from my house, just by looking at a particular render, or very nice render of some building or some complex. So this thing definitely has come back, and we've tried to integrate now an offline and an online experience when it comes to the customer sales experience. With respect to the other aspects of digital, I think as Jaydeep said, social has become a huge medium for everybody. I think all developers, especially everybody here on the panel, are quite strong on the social platforms. And possibly we are putting out more content in terms of our advertising and less in terms of engagement, as Mr. Gandhi has put. But definitely social has been a very important part of our digital strategy going forward for the next 6-12 months at least.
Thanks, Chintan. Sharish, let me come to you with the next question. We all know the land values in Mumbai is very high. What are some of the other reasons why affordable housing is not taken off? I know you do a lot of mid-market. You've also tried your hand in affordable. Why hasn't affordable housing taken off? I'll also let Niranjan Bhai come in after you on the same question.
Yeah, Ramesh. So I think, of course, land value has been the biggest roadblock. But other than that, couple of other things. One is of course, the the time required for approvals, which basically adds to the land cost because it adds to the holding cost and the interest cost and everything gets added. And another is all the government costs, which is right from premiums, which you have to pay to the local body, and the other costs like stamp duty to pay to the central government, sorry, state government, and GST that you pay to the central government. So each and every part of the government is your partner today, and each and every is wanting to extract their own pie from whatever you are doing in the business of real estate, because they want to milk this cow again and again and again. And I think that has put a huge burden on the entire real estate, forget affordable housing. And when you have host of these costs added, so today land cost is no longer a consideration, because a lot of developers are sitting on land banks. So they are not even looking at their land cost. They are not even looking at today's land cost. They are just looking at cash flow and cash profitability as on today or going forward. But what is pinching is the current cost of interest, the current cost of premiums, and all the host of other things that you are adding to it. And I think this premiums and all the other things associated with has become a huge burden. And unless government comes up with an idea of reducing this, unless government comes up with, as I already talked about, under ease of doing business, that you have a land, tomorrow you can start a project, or you have a land in a finite amount of time, you can start a project, and then the others are, finite amount of time, you can complete the construction and everything. It's partially in our hands. But this, which is indefinite, and you cannot really calculate how much time you will need. Title is a big issue. Something crops up midway through the project, you still don't have a title which is given to you by government, which happens in US. So because all these issues come up, any Tom, Dick and Harry goes to the court and puts a stay on your all the development, and then you have to settle him for 100 rupees when his cost is not even a rupee. So all this ecosystem which has developed around it, these important things need to be corrected. Unless we correct these things, affordable housing will never be a reality. Forget in Mumbai, but anywhere in India.
Thanks. Thanks. Niranjan, you want to add to that? How do we make affordable housing a reality in our city? Niranjan, you're on mute.
If you cut out the last two words in your sentence, it's already a reality, which means affordable housing is there in India, but not in Mumbai. So what is the idiosyncrasy? The idiosyncrasy is in simply what Sailesh mentioned about the cost of land being unnecessarily high. Number two, that the costs of clearance, cost of additional FSI cost, and all these other things are made it unaffordable, and they will do it. Remember, the opportunity is so large, Ramesh, for the purposes of affordable housing. 50% of our population of Mumbai live in jhopatpattis. Each one of them is a potential house buyer. You can't imagine the kind of potential that exists over here. But we are very, very microscopic. We don't understand scale. I wish Mr. Mukesh Ambani had got into real estate and cleared up half of Mumbai. If somebody had really done Dharavi and cleaned it up properly, all these things would have made a world of a difference, because that's the kind of paradigm which is needed. And exactly piping what you said as a dream come true, can we not have affordable housing? So what is the second opportunity that comes? And that is why the growth is taking place in the peripheral areas. So you will have the growth taking place in Thane, which is now becoming fully developed, and the multiplier effect is taking place. You will have Navi Mumbai, you will have Panvel, the areas between Panvel and further. All these peripheral areas will grow simply not because Mumbai doesn't have an opportunity, but because your policies on land, your policies on approvals, your policies on additional FSI are ridiculously microscopic, and I don't know what is the right adjective. Maybe Chintan can, from his education, teach me about the right word to use. But the point is not there. The point is somebody has to vision this, work it out, and do it. There is no reason why it cannot be done. We conceived the Cross Harbour Bridge, which is now being constructed, in 1970. The bridge cost 100 crores. Now we are only spending 12,000 crores. We conceived Navi Mumbai airport at 150 crores 40 years ago. Today it's 5,000 sub crores. We did the Bombay-Pune road, which we constructed in 1,650 crores, including interest during construction period. Today, if we had constructed it, it would have cost us 8,500 crores. And I'm not counting the additional land cost that would have been there. So point is, unless we don't do things in a hurry and do clearances which are very quick and radical, and unless somebody doesn't come up with a sweeping change in this sector that we really want to do, the opportunity is there. There is a possibility of doing that. Until then, you will get, oh, Hiranandani is the biggest land developer. Actually, it should not have been, because my schemes have been already 30, 35 years old. We should have had many more such schemes to come about. And of course, we have one of Mr. Loda in Kalyan side, which is extremely powerful and well-to-do. But I was hoping that there would be lots and lots of more schemes that would come up in these opportunities of development to be done. And the opportunity is there, but government will have to reconsider its policies. One of the good things is we have got the stamp duty reduced. I hope the other costs and other duties, which are now come in the newspapers, as Mr. Deepak Parikh's recommendations also get accepted quickly, which is a 50% reduction of all the other things, and also the payment should be back-ended. If these things happen, there is a possibility of an improvement in terms of volume that is going to be available. And also, I think the interest in terms of commercial development hopefully will come back when all the thought process to the fact of clearances and the doubts that you have raised in your report also in terms of what is the effect of walk to work and other things are also clarified by people. I think a thing will be there. And of course, who comes and wins the president election in the United States of America? So maybe after November, we can have another get together.
Thanks, Niranjan.
Ramesh, I have only one objection, Ramesh, to Niranjan Bhai. I don't want Mukesh Ambani to even dream about getting into real estate, because he will give houses free for next 10 years and then we will all be out of the business.
You never know. So let me move to the...
Sailesh, that you have said it, maybe he will come into it, you know. Never challenge Mr. Ambani.
And then so I'll ask a few quick questions. My request to the panelists is to keep the answers to maybe one line in terms of... So post-COVID, my first question is, post-COVID, what are you seeing in terms of sizing of apartments? Chintan? One line answer.
So I think it's livability of internal spaces. I mean, people going from just pure ticket size, focusing more on, you know, the room size, the apartment, the different spaces, how they're livable, not. I think that is definitely coming.
Dhaval?
I think importance of efficiency of apartments will increase from affordability. So that's where I see more efficient and more actual space livable versus a ticket size where my one flat is 1 crore or whatever. So efficiency is more important than livability, affordability.
Jaydeep?
So the need for large spaces has been established, and that's a good sign for us.
Mani?
Yeah, definitely people are looking for the extra half a room to a room so that they can work from home. Seeing that change.
Niranjan Bhatt?
I'll add on to whatever everyone said by saying that you will design your furniture completely different. For example, you'll roll up the beds and use it as your bedroom as an office. Today, the bed is so large and heavy. I think those days when a heavy bed is there, it should go away, so that you can actually push it into the wall and create an office space out of it, so that you can have an efficient office room in your bedroom. So you don't need an extra room. If you can afford, of course you want it. But if you can't, you can convert the bedroom into the office.
Shailesh?
So BHKs will become OBHKs going forward.
What is that?
Office and bedroom and hall kitchen.
Okay. Office BHKs. Let me move to the next question. The same. What are you seeing in terms of amenities, Chintan?
So, like I said earlier, the amenity is becoming extremely important, right? Especially standalone buildings are not going to be as preferred as complexes which are gated communities with, array of amenities. So
So you're saying
definitely that.
gated.
I
Double?
mean, complexes by nature become gated.
Okay. Double?
I personally feel amenities is a quite a bit of a choice. So maybe someone likes 100 amenities, someone may just want three or four which are very important to me, but the location is prime most important. So it is a mixed bag between both. So, but definitely a few like swimming pool or jogging track or something like that for health wise will be more important than any other extracurricular activities or whatever. But anything preferred would definitely be health, whether it is a single building or a complex.
Money?
People are looking for more open spaces, and on the PropTiger side, you're seeing customers, in fact, come and check the connectivity of the network around where they're going to live.
Niranjan bhai?
I think customer is more demanding. He wants much more now from his home. Earlier, he thought that this was a place where I came at night to sleep. And that was the end of it. Now that he has been jailed over there for more than 6 months, suddenly realizes that he wants everything which all of you are saying and maybe more.
Let me ask the next question. Let me start with Chintan again. Chintan, there's a lot of infrastructure initiatives happening. Niranjan bhai spoke about the airport. He spoke about the Trans-Harbour link. A lot of metro connectivity happening. What are those two suburbs you will bet your money on? There are a lot of residential home buyers who are watching this. What are the two suburban locations you will bet your money on, Chintan? Chintan, I think I'm mute.
MMR actually quite a large area to just bet on two suburbs, but I think if you had to speak in and around immediate Mumbai city, probably the ones getting directly impacted by the metro should have the most. So Western Line Dahisar, Central Line Mulund, and Thane.
Dahisar and Mulund. Double? Double?
Not because I have a project over there, but I personally feel Vadala as a destination because of the connectivity from Central, Western, and going suburbs over. So Vadala, Chembur, that belt, I feel that will be because it has the most open space left in and around Mumbai, I would say. And if I have to look at the extended suburbs, I personally feel anywhere beyond Thane, because I think Thane is also now developing as a city by itself. So somewhere just on the outskirts of Thane would be there. And if I have to look at Western, I really agree towards Dahisar.
Money?
Yeah, I certainly agree on the Western lines. I mean, towards the Hisar and also beyond Thane. I think Thane is becoming expensive. So people are now looking beyond Thane as a region.
Niranjan bhai? Two locations, your pick for the future?
Well, I'm very selfish, so I'm not going to apologize like Dhaval does. But I would say Thane and Panvel as a center, which I think is really going to grow tremendously. Both the areas, Thane is already matured, but what has happened is that along with the maturity, one of the biggest advantage of Thane is that the infrastructure is also developed, which means metro is coming, roads have been developed, all these segments are there. And the future opportunities on the, as everybody has correctly said, beyond that. So I think the opportunity on both the roads, the Nasik road and the Mumbai-Pune road, which are really there. I'd just bet on the Mumbai-Pune road rather than on the Nasik road. But there could be opportunities on both these roads. But the railway line is more on the Mumbai-Pune side, where the Panvel-Karjat railway line is coming up. So I think I would bet that more because of the airport, sea connectivity, Delhi-Mumbai industrial corridor, closure to JNPT, and also now the connectivity towards Alibag and, of course, Goa.
Niranjan, let me start with you on the next question. There are many developers today who have unsold apartments, both completed as well as under construction. One line of advice from you to them. I know you have a big brand, you find it easy to sell, but that's not the case for everybody in the industry. what is that one advice you will give to developers who have a large number of unsold, completed and under construction inventory?
I think better than me is Mr. Deepak Parekh. So Mr. Deepak Parekh said, cut your prices and sell. But the point is not that. The point is, what is the market demand for? So if there is a good demand for your product, I don't think you need to cut prices at all. I would say that you give better quality product, give better amenities, and people are ready to pay the price for it. But there is another segment which is quite different, which is the affordable segment. And in those segments, you certainly have to cut prices and cut costs also. I don't think the builders have learned to do that adequately enough in the affordable housing segment. So that is one thing which we have to learn, that those who are in the affordable housing segment actually need to really learn how to become more efficient in terms of construction costs and overheads and other costs. While we have been able to get away with murder at the higher prices, because we are actually inefficient as producers in terms of construction costs. I think efficiency in construction costs and government's unnecessary, wrong and illegal and unlawful levies need to be removed.
Shailesh?
I really feel that cutting costs is not an option. Cutting the ultimate user price is not an option. But I think you have to make your product more sellable, more attractive. It can be a better priced product, better size product, better amenity product. And of course, I think the cost rationalization, it should be an ongoing thing. This is just an time that we have got to look at costs, but it cannot happen that you become slack and then the markets revive in the next year or something, and then again your costs shoot up. I think gone are the days in real estate where you'll see abnormal price rise. I hope I am proven wrong again by the market. But I think what we need to do is look at all your costs again and again and again every time, be it a good market, be it a bad market. So I think that is an ongoing thing that real estate developer has to pull up socks, tighten their belts and look at each and every cost, be it 100 rupees or a lakh rupees or a crore of rupees. I think that should be an ongoing exercise along with efficiency, because we are inefficient. And because our inefficiencies are always being rewarded by the market for a long time now, and this is for the first time it's happening that real estate inefficiencies are being punished and punished very, very badly. So we can no longer afford to be inefficient. We have to be efficient.
Thanks, Harish. We have run out of time, unfortunately. So I thought I'll take the next 2 minutes to kind of summarize some of the learnings today. On the redevelopment front, the panelists felt there's a lot of opportunities, but only specialized players can do well. Premiums need to come down. Ease of doing business needs to improve. Self-certification should happen. Unless these things happen, redevelopment won't take off. Some of the emerging trends which the panelists felt is happening is larger layouts preferred. CBDs, we need multiple CBDs across the city. It just can't be a BKC or an urban point. With regards to townships, Niranjan Bhai spoke about how fiats and ambassadors disappeared. So real estate will also see a huge amount of change. We need to be ready for it. He spoke about how we just have 190 kilometers of suburb rail today, which is Western, Central and Harbour put together. But there are 300 kilometers of metro coming in. The new airport, Cross Harbour link. He said there's going to be nearly half the amount of land, which is of Mumbai land mass, which is going to be coming just in Navi Mumbai because of this added infrastructure. City land needs to increase. More townships needs to happen. He was more bullish that townships will happen in the city. Bigger size, post-COVID, better quality, better amenities is what people are looking for. In terms of increasing sales, the panelists felt stamp duty obviously is one of the reasons, but working from home for the last 6 months, people have decided that, okay, I need a bigger apartment, I need to upgrade my sizing, and also real estate is coming back as an investment class, given all the uncertainties in the stock markets of things going up and down. We also spoke about how real estate is becoming an essential post-COVID. Dhaval mentioned that RERA implementation has also kind of helped get in more confidence for buyers to come in. And the timing also, the buyers feel today is the right timing given all the price correction which has happened over the last 4-5 years. With regards to marketing, The panelists felt social media is important, online offline integration is important. Don't forget, real estate is still a touch and feel asset class. Everything can't be done online. Tech is just not a to do thing. Chintan mentioned that it's a necessity. Virality and engagement is very important when you're looking at online marketing. And developers should collaborate. Jaydeep spoke about how developers should collaborate to market areas. Today, everybody is trying to do different things to market a Panvel or a Thane. It's a good opportunity for developers to come together and market it. Affordable housing, we discussed some of those challenges. Land values is definitely a challenge. Time taken for approvals, government premiums, stamp duty, GST. Don't milk the cow till it dies. One of our panelists said that. Title certainty also needs to be there. 50% still in slums. Niranjan Bhai said that. Every person who stays in a slum is an opportunity, is a potential for an affordable housing buyer. We need to target that. He spoke about how things have, how by waiting costs goes up. Like Trans Harbour Link was originally planned at 100 crores. Today it's being done at 12,000 crores. While the airport was planned at 150 crores and today it's being planned at 5,000 crores. So do things in a hurry and do things radically. That is Niranjan Bhai's advice. He also felt that it's a good time to implement the Deepak Parekh recommendations for the industry. On the rapid fire round, what are the new sizing? I like the point, the OBHK concept, office and bedroom, hall, kitchen. Different furniture designs. Niranjan Bhai gave that idea. Extra rooms, bigger, more efficiency. Dhaval spoke about it. And relaxed, more space for relaxation. Gated communities again is going to take off. Niranjan Bhai felt that the new buyer will ask for more and more amenities, more open spaces. They're going to get more demanding in terms of the best locations to look for homes. Dahisar, Mulund, Wadala, Chembur, beyond Thane and Panvel and Thane. Advice to developers, still give better quality and better amenities, cut costs where required, and become more efficient in your operation. So with that, I'll hand it over to the organizers. Thank you all the panelists. It was a very engaging conversation and lots of new ideas. And I'm sure the listeners and the audience would have got some few good ideas to take back home. Thank you, Khyati. Back to you.
Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you, Ramesh.
I would like to stay with me for a couple of more minutes. Mr. Nair, thank you for steering this very interesting conversation. It's not been just interesting for all those who are part of this amazing industry, but all those as consumers, just like me, who would like to go out and buy a house for themselves. There have been such amazing insights that we've taken, and few points that to make sure that you buy a house which suits your requirements. Now we have two questions coming from our audiences. Now some of the points that you've already covered, but if you'd like to just touch upon them once more. The first question that we've received is, the rise in demand due to stamp duty reduction is a short-term phase. What can be the long-term solution for increasing housing affordability in Mumbai? Big question for all Mumbaikars.
Niranjan Bhai, you want to take that?
The world is very dynamic. It's very difficult to actually give long-term ideas in terms of structures. I can only say one thing, that the government cannot make housing, which is a necessity, roti, kapda, makan, into a highly taxed item as it has become today. Almost, if you take a house today, which is being sold by any developer, more than 33% of the cost of the house goes in terms of taxes, direct, indirect, municipal, local, premiums and other things. If you really want over a period of time to change that situation, you have to go the IT way, where for the next 5 years, you reduce the level of taxes. Your collections will in fact go up, as has happened in the case of IT. The businesses have gone up, become more profitable, created more employment and ultimately deliver. So I think that is the way to go in the long run. But what particular duties to be reduced, it will keep on changing from time to time.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Our next question from the audience is, will the housing in city peripheries remain attractive for buyers post-COVID once people start going back to work?
Shailesh, you want to take that?
No. In fact, it is the other trend. I was just sharing some time earlier that I had gone to Karjat for to my farmhouse, and then I was going around. I was going for the morning walk in the early morning, and then I saw people had come in their Honda cities and accents to see the plots in that area, and they were saying now that we can work from home. We are looking for a place where we have a good Wi-Fi connection, and it's like my second home becomes my first home. In fact, people are wanting to go out. I know so many iBankers. Ramesh will concur with me. So many of his colleagues, they have staying in their Lonavala or Kopoli or other houses, and they are working from there. So in fact, the trend is reversing. Location is no longer a criteria. Distance to station had always been not a criteria now. So it's always the better location is where you have a better Wi-Fi and a better environment. You can go out in the evening and enjoy the greenery around you. I think it's the trend that I'm seeing even in my own office. My EA was telling me, sir, I want to have built my own house in my village, and I will work from there, and maybe once or twice only I'll come to office. So this trend is fast emerging, and you'll see things changing very, very rapidly.
Anyone else would like to touch upon the point?
Niranjan bhai, 2 days back, you were talking about how Alibag could kind of become an extension to the city. Your thoughts around that? That could be perfect to what Shailesh just mentioned, right?
Well, the RoRo connectivity has taken place. So from South Mumbai, you'll be reaching faster to Alipad than you would reach to the airport. So I'm talking about Santa Cruz. And so all those things are definitely making a change to take place in the next couple of years. As Shailesh has correctly said, all these differences are going to pan out and definitely happen. But what we really want to know is, where is the growth area for the city? What is it that brings Mumbai to take the leadership role, and why not any other place like Pune, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and all these things? So what you really need to say is, what is the growth potential of these cities that we have created and the peripheral areas? How do you actually benchmark to see that the next 10 years growth is there and not anywhere else? And that is the question that we are not answering sufficiently enough, which means higher quality of infrastructure, better development of health and other facilities, to see that.
Mr. Hiranandani, you lost your voice in between. Could you just repeat that?
Education for your children, colleges, higher education, social endeavor. So it is okay to say that I live in Karjat and things like that. But human beings are social animals. They also want to congregate. So their capacity to come back. People have come to Mumbai to find work. We are now to see, can it continue to be the epic center of work in the next decade, or is it not going to be there? Or are you going to give up the leadership to Hyderabad, Bangalore, Noida, and other places? So the governments of the day have to really relook and say, how do we bring back the center of gravity to the center of Mumbai or the periphery of Mumbai? It doesn't matter where. But you have to concentrate and see that these USPs are celebrated. But I agree with all the panelists when they say that the changes in terms of quality of life and the method of working from home is going to happen in many industries. And that has definitely happened, if not happening.
Absolutely. Thank you so much once again. I'd like to thank our moderator for steering the conversation and all our panelists for spending this time with us. It's been really fruitful, this conversation. I'm really sure that all our audiences have enjoyed this and taken a lot of food for thought to think about. So thank you so much once again for your time. We'll see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Niranjan bhai, Dhaval. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, our